Right, so I'm actually looking at this. So this is the deluxe edition of the game. It comes in an actual like full-on box.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it's got crazy stuff. So I'm gonna actually kind of show you guys first what's in it. First, you have the book, which the book is actually really good quality. I have it all tabbed because I'm OCD. But it's actually really good quality, and actually all throughout here, you'll find tons of places where Tiny Tina has written in her own notes, and like scratched out things. She's got like several characters. Like there's the Handsome Jack like variant, and she like
Yeah,
posted like something over its
Oh,
face and everything. Like she's just gone all out and about, just made it her own, and it's hilarious. All the stuff
that's
that she
awesome.
pulls into here.
handsome Jack, that asshole.
You have a bunch of character sheets that the set comes with, so that's nice. Although I always print off mine. I always feel weird using official ones because I feel like it's a precious resource. I can just print them off.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
whatever. It actually does have a Bunkers and Badasses GM screen.
Oh,
So it's
cool.
a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 panel. A lot of cool art, whatever. But a lot of stuff in here. A lot of her notes. There's a lot of pink because you know it's Tiny Tina and it's awesome. You have this really nifty like dry erasable, like it's like board game style board, and it's
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, it's really simple.
Wow.
It's really simple. It's not complicated. It's not gigantic, but it's not necessarily small. It's like perfect for like a basic encounter. And it's technically double-sided. Like one is just purely flat. The other one has some other details on the other side. It's actually decent quality. And you can use dry erase on it or wet erase. I don't remember which one you're supposed to use. But... And I've already punched all these out, but gobs of tokens. They're standees. And anything from simple, like, you know, bad guy zombie token. Fucking nightmare.
Wow.
To
I love the
you've
art
got,
style.
to you've got
Yeah.
you've got these hand drawn, like, I don't know if that's clear.
Whoa.
To actual, here's full on colored ones. So, and they're just simple standees, but it's better than, you know, not having anything. But if you really like miniatures, this is marked My Friends. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, that's nice.
But they
Wow.
are actual models, and it's all the Borderlands 2 characters and the Borderlands 1 characters.
Yeah, I think I saw Zero in there.
Zero's in there. You got Axton. You've got Gage, the Necromancer. You've got Krieg, the Psycho. So you got all the DLC characters in here from Borderlands 2. And they're pretty cool. So those are nice to have in there. I thought I had another particular thing in here. I'll have to pull out of my dice bin, which is kind of sad because that means I gotta dig. But you also get this purple set of D&D
Oh,
dice.
that's cool. I like those.
And they're this
Very
really
nice.
beautifully translucent purple. On the 20, there's a bomb, you know, Tiny Tina. And on
Yeah.
a 1, or no, that's a 1, sorry. The bomb is a 1, and the vault symbol is the 20. And they're really pretty dice. I really like them. They're actually
I
one of my
love
favorite.
translucents.
I'm not usually a big fan of basic translucent dice, but these ones are really pretty. And hang on, I realized that the special die is in a gigantic box of dice. So I apologize if you hear. Hold on. Here it is. This, my friends, is the badass die. And to kind of give
That thing is, that's huge.
the regular
Huge.
D20, badass die. The difference is this has
Wow.
3 20s and 3 1s.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
It has to do with a particular mechanic in the game that's called the badass move, to where it's either going to succeed awesomely or fail gloriously.
Miserably.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's one of my favorite parts of the game, the mechanic, because essentially during the game you want to do something, because for Borderlands you do ridiculous stuff, and if you describe this thing,
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, that sounds kind of badass. You're trying to do a badass move. So, and you go through this entire process, and it could really work or it could really fail, which is fun. But that's kind of the concept of the deluxe. So if you guys ever wanted to get that, that's what you get if you get the deluxe version versus the basic one, which is just a book. So,
So that's not a Kickstarter version. That's just for sale.
They didn't do a Kickstarter
Okay.
version. They did a pre-order, which had some extra benefits. I don't really know what they were. I didn't pay too much attention. I just saw it was Borderlands RPG official Bunkers and Badasses. I'm buying it. And
Yeah.
I think the only thing you might miss out on is this big die, because you can use a regular D20 in just a 1, 2, and 3, or a 18, 19, 20. But the fact that you get this die is just really, really cool, because it's gigantic. You roll it, and it's like, oh yeah, it's super impactful and all that jazz. But the other thing it comes with, I've got them sleeved up, are the gun cards.
Yeah, I saw that you can download a gun template.
Yep. So, and this is kind of like the base mechanic of the game. I'm going to get into more mechanics next time. But
Yeah.
they managed to turn Borderlands into a tabletop looter shooter.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
So, the way that you determine how you hit is actually based more on the gun you use than your own stats. And so you want to find better guns, and you can they basically have a deck's worth, and you can create your own and basically shuffle them together into a deck, and then you can randomly deal out what you got. So it's kind of a cool way to do a looter shooter.
Yeah.
And the damage is
Sounds
based on
cool.
weapons, that sort of thing. And they also have their own like little flavor text and things. And for the guns also, because in the game there's the red text in your weapons, you can have red text on these. So the GM can create a red text weapon, and the red text, the players have no idea what it is until they discover it. So it's a fun little feature.
Yeah.
And very much it's part of that looter shooter style, and you can get ridiculous with it. The first, like the one shot that's the basic learn the mechanics one shot has a couple really cool ones in it.
Yeah, I love the guns from the game. There were just so many different crazy guns.
When one of the guns you can find literally shoots exploding swords.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's what it is. Because like, yeah, this is literally shooting exploding swords.
Bruh, I need to play Borderlands again.
It's fantastic. So the lore of the game is you're in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, right? Which actually I believe there's a map in here. It's pretty cool if I can find it. You're on Pandora, like Pan
Oh, yeah.
Mark Dora. Like, because if they even describe it, everything you had that Mark II just becomes more fantasy. That's the reason why they do it. It's like, yeah, just add that in, it just becomes more. So you're on Pandora. And the whole idea is it's basically this Borderlands fantasy world, and in my opinion, it's one of the most flexible, do what you want to do style of games ever, because it's literally, you could do serious, like, you could do Borderlands serious, like, holy crap, that character just died, oh my gosh. Or you could be Borderlands, and ridiculousness ensues, to where it's like, you're sent on this thing for this mighty relic that, is known to repel these creatures from all around it. You find out it's the stinkiest cheese in the land, It's just ridiculousness that it allows for you to do. And everything is magic wands and things of the sort. These wands just happen to look and throw metal projectiles off and disregard the fact that you recognize that they're totally guns. So it is like taking Borderlands and saying that this is fantasy, and Borderlands, I have a gun. How does that work? And they're like, don't stop questioning it. It's fantasy. Like,
You
okay.
just do it.
That's really the rules. You have to stop questioning reality. Is like, how does this happen? Because Queen Butt Stallion is the leader of whatever the main capital thing, whatever. It's Queen Butt Stallion, diamond made horse or unicorn or whatever she is. So,
Oh God.
So that's
Hey, just wanted to say, my dad wishes he could be here, but he had a prior commitment. He's gonna game a Traveler tonight.
that's cool. That's one of the reasons
Yeah.
why actually I wanted to record it too. Is like I want to post them and say, hey, this is
Yeah.
kind of what we got to do. And yeah, do you have any kind of like questions about like just the background of it, or is Borderlands pretty self-explanatory enough?
Hmm.
Yeah, I've played a couple of the games, but it's been, like I said, it's been a long time. So,
Yeah,
um,
Yeah, from the most things I remember about Borderlands is your treasure hunter is going to Pandora to look for treasure, but the guy who hired you tries to kill you as soon as you
basically.
get there.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens in there. Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of other lore and story and background and all this jazz. But Pandora itself is like this like the wasteland of a planet. Pretty much everyone on the planet is insane somehow, and it's
Mm.
ridiculous fun, ridiculous guns, ridiculous technology, ridiculous jokes and humor, and that just bleeds into this through and through. Like it's fantasy, but it's ridiculous fantasy. Absolutely
yeah,
ridiculous fantasy. I wouldn't call this a good game for a long 3-year campaign, unless that's just what you're into.
yeah,
Like, but
Mm.
this
yeah,
is like perfect for like, hey, let's do a short campaign to have some laughs and to for some fun or a one shot or whatever, because it very much feels like that kind of game to just laugh and have good fun. But that kind of laughter can get old, if you just keep throwing
yeah.
the same, third grade humor jokes over and over. But
So it just kind of cleanses your palate
a
until
little
you
bit,
start something else.
a little bit, a little
Yeah.
bit.
Hmm.
So yeah, so why don't we go ahead and get into creating a character here? And did you see the link I posted that you can go and download a form fillable character sheet?
Yeah, I've got it up here.
Perfect. All right, so we're going to do this. I'm going to open up mine, and let's switch my recording. Can I record both of these? I don't think I can. So,
Are you going to run this at some point?
yes. So, okay, I guess I should probably talk about what these series are going to be. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
So these series, I own a small handful of random RPGs and of different kinds and whatever.
Oh,
That
wow.
and
Oh, Cthulhu. I've been meaning to get into that.
I've never played it. But that's just it. I have all
Oh,
these games and
really?
I have other digital copies of other games that I've never played before. And the
Yeah.
thing is, I've never played them, never run them. Some I've run but never played and whatever. And I'm never gonna have the time
Yeah.
unless
Mhm.
I figured out this method. So what I'm doing is I'm
Yeah.
giving everybody the opportunity to was like, hey, we're gonna dive into this. Here's Bunkers and Badasses. We'll talk about the background of it
Yeah.
to kind of fill what's the world, what's the setting, and then we'll create a character, have fun with that.
Yeah.
And the second session, I'm actually gonna go, okay, so this is how the mechanics work, and we're gonna do a mock combat because combat's like one of the
Okay.
things most people like. How does combat work? Even if it's not a combat based game, I'm still gonna run through it. Borderlands is definitely a combat based game, just FYI.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. There's role playing it, but all talking skills are literally boiled down to the talk skill. So it's a gun game. That's the point.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be able to play all these games, many of which I've had for
Hmm.
years. I've never played them, or
Yeah.
ones like Call of Cthulhu. I've never played it before, and
Right.
I love horror RPGs. And they're like, if you like horror
Yeah.
RPGs, you have to do Call of Cthulhu. I was like, okay, so I picked that up. Now what? So, second session is going to be us diving into mechanics so people can kind of learn that. Third session is going to be an actual session zero. It's going to be okay, so limited seating. Like at
Okay.
50 people could come in this room right now and we can have an open discussion. It'll be
Yeah.
fun. But for
Right.
that one, there's
Yeah.
going to be limited seating. I'd still open session zero for people to watch, or I might actually try and set up. I technically have a Twitch account to stream. I'm not a
Hmm.
streamer. So I might
Yeah.
do a whole, hey, I'm going to stream this to it or whatever. I will have to think about that, see if I really want to put the effort into making it even look nice or whatever.
Yeah.
But it'll be a real session zero to where we actually create new characters, talk with each other to figure that out, get some bases down for the one shot. I'll have a concept for the one shot, so everyone will be working off that. They can work together, kind of create their characters. And then we will go through and we'll play a one shot. I will run it.
Awesome.
unless someone else wants to run one, like if they're very well versed in it. Like Call of Cthulhu is a game that I might want to see if I can find someone else to run it at that time. That's down the future though. I have other things I want to do first. But then it'll give everybody the opportunity to actually play it, or some people an
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
And that's kind of
It
the goal of
does.
like all these game systems. There's so many good ones and so many settings. The
Yeah.
only restriction I have
Yeah.
is it's not Forgotten Realms. I actually have some third-party 5e books that I would love to dive into and actually do those as far as a setting exploration, to give people that chance and actually use features in those books. Another thing is everyone's got to be able to get the books. What I mean by that is
Yeah.
I'm not
Right.
going to be doing stuff that it's like you can't find. Like there's an old Iron
Right.
Kingdoms RPG. It's a 2d6 system based off of a miniatures war game. Really cool system,
Ooh.
but it's incredibly hard to find the rule books. They do have a 5th
Yeah.
edition third-party book that they made, so I'm going to be doing that to play in the setting. But the original book for the original RPG with its own system is unavailable, and you have to hunt for it, and it's hard to find in good condition and whatever
Yeah.
else. So it's just like this. It has to be something to where if people want to buy it, they can get it in one version of another. And generic RPG systems, I'm a big fan of them. So I want
Yeah.
to run multiple of these with a generic RPG system. Like Ben, you played in my one shot. I want to
Yeah,
be able to
and
go, here's my setting, but then here's another setting in the same type of system, totally different, so on and so forth. So I do plan on
Yeah, I
revisiting my
enjoy
setting.
that.
Yeah. So, and there's a lot of stuff like that that I want to do, and I've got more Kickstarters and stuff on the way, so there's adding to the list of games. So yeah. So that's the
Yeah.
goal of these: is a 4-part section for every RPG system or setting, to where we dive into the characters, dive into the core mechanics, do a full session 0, planning 1 to 2 hours for a healthy session 0, and then plan a 3 to 4 hour one shot. And that's the goal.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I'm kind of isolated, you know.
Right.
I don't really have anyone that's going to play RPGs with me, so
And that's
one of the reasons why I started getting into
absolutely.
this. And so,
And it's something where I have a lot of friends who play at a lot of different times, and different. I never get the friends I want to be able to sit down
yeah,
and play, or the people that I want
right.
to, the people that I don't want to play are like, hey, let's play, and I'm like, I don't want to play.
Yeah.
But so it's like, you know what? I like this chance to do this. So far, everyone I've met on here has been a wonderful bit. So if anyone
Hmm.
watching the video later, just on YouTube or whatever else, Adventure Syndicate on Discord, I'll get Bill's permission to share an invite link with that. And if I can put it in like description and whatever. But so far it's been a cool community. I'm actually really
Yeah.
excited for the gift exchange that we're doing for Christmas,
Yep.
because
Yeah,
I'm
that's gonna
enjoying
be fun.
I'm enjoying getting the
Yeah.
gift more than I thought. Like as far as like getting it to give to
Yeah.
someone, because I ordered it here. I'm like, I'll trying to figure out how to like wrap it all fancy and whatever, just to make it cool and whatnot. Because I'm an overachiever apparently, and I'm enjoying that. So everyone's been really cool in the community so far, and
Yeah.
I figured this would be a cool way for multiple people in the community to check out a lot of different kinds of systems they've never had the chance to,
Hmm.
and maybe get some attention to them too, because it'd be really cool if some of these systems, like
Yeah.
let's say you really like bunkers and badasses, and you're like, man, I really enjoyed this system. You go out, you buy it, and you're like, I want to run a short campaign. It's a game you never would have probably tried otherwise, and
Hmm.
at that point then it gives some other people the chance to come in and play too. So
Yeah.
kind of the goal.
Yeah. Ben, are you on? Are you a part of Third Floor Wars?
I am not.
Okay. And that's the reason why I started playing games there. Is I just didn't have anyone to play, and
Yep. Like,
Dungeons and Dragons is. I mean, it's fine. Fantasy isn't my.
yeah.
It's
Mm,
okay. But I love these little one-off
Mhm.
games. Um,
me too.
so I'm pretty excited about it. So
Mm. And I really love the Powered by the Apocalypse system.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I
me too.
love the Free League, the 00 engine powered by the Apocalypse. I love those engines, and I love the games that those
Yeah.
companies make.
Cool. Yeah, actually, one of the games on my list is City of Mist, which is based on the
Oh,
Powered by
yeah.
Apocalypse. I
Hmm.
found that when running it, it's not my favorite system to run, if I'm being honest. But I would really like to play in it.
Yeah.
It's
See, that's
Yeah.
another
it's cool.
reason. If I get people around here to play, I have to lead it. Sometimes I just want to play.
Well, and that's just it. If you look over
Yeah.
in the Discord, you'll see on the right that there are multiple people who
Hmm.
run games, and if you also notice, they're also some of the most active people in the Discord.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
different people are running them different times, and that really I've found that having other GMs and things in an RPG group really helps enrich the experience.
Yeah.
Because for especially for newer GMs. So I'm looking at this as the chance to, hey,
Hmm.
would someone else like to run this? And it's like, I've never run a game. Perfect. Like, this is an opportunity for you to try it out. There's a lot of experienced people who have no
Hmm.
expectations of perfection, but more like, hey, let's help you and grow and whatever.
Yeah.
So, and I
Yeah.
figure this deep dive series would be a good way to introduce people to a lot of like smaller systems or lesser known
Right.
ones. Like people hear
Yeah.
about some of them, like L5R and whatever, but they've never actually played them. So it's like, let's
Yeah.
give them a shot.
Is Wicked Ones, is that on your list?
It is not Wicked Ones. I'm not
Mm.
familiar with the sound of that one.
Yeah. And that one, you play the monster building a dungeon.
Oh, wait a minute, wait a
Um,
minute. Was this?
Whoa,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I remember this one now. I did remember
I
someone
haven't
showing
read
this
it
to me.
yet, but
That's cool.
yeah.
I have to look at that one. And this is just it too, is people keep suggesting new RPGs, and it's like, I'm never gonna play these. Well, now I have a
Hmm.
method to do so.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, let's see here.
Okay.
Bu-bu-bu-bu-bu-bum. Okay. Oh, nope. I don't know if the recording is working the way I want it to, so we'll see this way. Maybe? Maybe not. Might just have to do generic screen capture because I am not a pro at this recording or whatever else. Let's just
I'm not
do...
either.
Let's do window capture because I don't know. Okay, let's do window capture. And oh, cool. So, boop. And I apologize to any people who watch this in the future who actually know what they're doing. um, I am not a professional streamer. So,
This is how you get better.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. All right, so the Bunkers and Badasses character sheet. And this, meh. I'll zero that out so it's not ugly in there in the recording. All right, so Bunkers and Badasses is a character sheet. So if you're looking at the character sheet, um, notice you'll have a couple things at the top: your name, background, level, class, archetype, action skill, all that jazz. We're gonna go
Mm-hmm.
through and determine all of these.
Okay.
All right. So chapter 1: creating a Vault Hunter. So I'm gonna kind of give you a base understanding of the stats. Accuracy is kind of how good you are at hitting things, kind of obvious. Damage is applies to combat and throw distance. Kind of self-explanatory how much damage you can do. Speed is how fast you can move, and it's also affects dodging enemy attacks. Mastery is a focus and proficiency you bring to certain skills, and so it kind of amplifies them a little bit way. And we'll kind of get into the mechanics more specifically later. But to choose an archetype, because that's the first part, we have, as it describes it, you have shooty badasses, flamey badasses, explodey badasses. You have different kinds. We need to pick an archetype. The 4 archetypes are the Deadeye, Elementalist, Enforcer, and Guardian. And if you guys wanted to, you can determine randomly, or you can just kind of pick which sounds the coolest. Which guys do you want to do? I think for me, I'm going to wait till you guys pick, and I'll pick one that you don't.
Well,
Ace.
since this is this is new to me. I'm probably not going to do anything related that has magic.
Sorry about the dog.
Don't hear it.
Nah, I don't hear
Good.
it. I hope you wouldn't be able to hear my dog a few minutes ago.
Well, why don't you go with the Deadeye then? Because the Deadeye.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah. And Ken, what would you like to do? There are
Um,
Elementalist, Enforcer, and Guardian.
you know what? I haven't been a tank kind of person for a while. I'm assuming that's what an enforcer is, right?
An Enforcer has some stats there. Let's see here. The Enforcer, if I were to describe it, it's actually a good question. Let me see here. I get the Guardian and the Enforcer mixed up as far as like weapon.
Yeah.
The Guardian is the one that protects their friends.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. And the Enforcer, they hurt people. That's literally the first
I
line.
want to be the
Enforcers hurt people.
enforcer. Is that the
I hurt
archetype or the
people.
That
class?
is the archetype.
Okay.
So, Ben, you are the Deadeye. Ken, you're the Enforcer. I will go ahead and I'll go the fancy route and I'll be the Elementalist. All right. And from there, let's see here. Then we need to look at the archetype starting stats. So for the Enforcer, you get a 1 in your accuracy, and you'll put that in the big box. You will get a 4 in your damage, a 2 in your speed, and a 0 in your mastery.
Speed was 2 and 0, and then 0 in mastery.
That's correct.
Okay.
So you should be
Got it.
1-4-2-0.
2-0. Yep.
For the Deadeye, you have a 4 in your accuracy, a 1 in damage, a 0 in speed, and 2 in mastery. And as the Elementalist, I'll have 0 in accuracy, 2 in damage, 1 in speed, and a 4 in mastery. All right, I'm going to sometimes read directly out of the book because it is too much of a gem not to.
Yeah.
Like this is asking, what's your hero fantasy? Maybe you're a dual-wielding madman, cackling with delight as your casings hit the ground, or maybe you're a precise, mysterious killer for hire. Regardless of your choice, your class is how you embody your particular power fantasy. And part of here it ends up saying, you want a mech who can punch and mow down spider ants, and it has an asterisk written in by Tiny Tina. And she writes,
Wow.
like a normal robot, but with embezzlements. Fantasy. The classes are the Assassin, Berserker, Commando, Gunzerker, Hunter, Necromancer, Psycho, Siren, and Soldier. So think of all the Borderlands 2 classes, and that's basically what they are. And they're very similar to the ones in the game. So if you remember how those function by chance, there's going to be a similarity.
I don't remember very well. What's the
Me
Gunzerker?
neither.
The Gunzerker, when they use their active skill, they get to use multiple guns at a time.
Yeah, I think that's what I'd like. That
All right.
fit pretty well with an enforcer, I think, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Assassin sounds like it would be a good choice for a Deadeye. Or did you also say there was a mercenary?
The Commando, which is Axton from number 2. That is when he had that saber turret.
The command, assassin or commando? I think I'll go commando.
All right. I am going to go a little weird here. I'm going to go the Psycho because the Psycho was my favorite in Borderlands 2 to play.
Yeah, mine too.
The Psycho gets fun with this. All right, so the classes give you guys increased stats. Did you say you went with the Assassin?
I said commando.
Commando. Okay, so the Commando gets +1 to their accuracy and +1 to their damage, and +2 to their mastery.
Okay, so those change to 5, 2, and 4?
I believe so. You said you went with the Gunzerker.
Hmm.
So you will have, and I correction, it's classes from both Borderlands 1 and 2, not just 2.
Okay.
The Gunzerker gets +1 accuracy, +2 damage, no extra speed, +1 mastery.
Okay.
And for my Psycho, I get +1 to my accuracy, +2 to my damage. Let's see here. So that's accuracy then of 1, 4 to my damage. I gain +1 to my speed and +2 to my mastery. You're like, why did I get, all these extra benefits? You're gonna see why the Psycho has some major downsides. All right,
It
so
can't be easy to play a mentally insane character.
right, it's actually
Be
really
kind of
fun.
fun though.
Oh, yeah, I've done
It
it.
sounds
It's a
like
lot
it
of fun.
would be fun.
It's one of those like knife's edge to where if you don't have someone who knows what they're doing, they can go what Vampire Masquerade characters refer to as fish milk. The Malkavian in that
Okay.
game is like this,
Hmm.
well, the crazy in one version or another, but they
Yeah.
usually do it as the whole, I'm psycho, crazy, and weird, and mess everything up, and that's really kind of sucky.
Hmm.
But so the action skill, everyone gets an action skill. It's a special ability the Vault Hunter can perform once per encounter, and an additional number of times per Pandora day based on their mastery modifier, which is something I'll get into at a different time. Let's see here. And when I get to that part in the book, we'll pull that out. But we'll continue from here. Favored versus non-favored guns. Each class has one gun they prefer over all others. They can the kind they can sleep next to or with, although in parentheses it says not like that, every night. Just FYI for anyone watching too, this is not a kid-friendly game. There's a lot of jokes just like the video games.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, there's some Moxie jokes in here. Anyways, when making this, it's whenever you make a ranged attack with a favored gun, you actually get to add your accuracy and damage modifier. So it's like being proficient in something in 5e. If it's your
Nice.
favorite gun,
Okay.
you gain that little extra bonus.
Okay.
Let's see here. You gain additional favored guns as you level up, and so on and so forth. Let's see here, and we'll get to those in a little bit. And then the skill tree, we'll deal with that later, because each class has its own skill tree. So there's one thing in Borderlands,
trees.
it's a little bit different. This is a fantasy game, but you don't often punch things. But there is a melee, so there is a melee die, and it's basically just this idea that whenever you punch things, you use your melee die. It's simple, it's effective. Only the Berserker changes it really, because he's all based around hulking out and just punching things. Well, I guess technically the Psycho does too, but we'll get to those. But now we're gonna go to the background. We're gonna find out what kind of
Awesome.
messed up origin you come from. This will be fun. Do you gentlemen happen to have a couple D10s nearby?
I can go get some real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay, you need basically the equivalent of a D100.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'll be right back.
All right, Ken, do you have yours?
I will see what I have.
All right. This is one of my favorite parts, because some of the options you can get, Tiny Tina has taped over with her own choices.
Where did you order this?
It is Nerdvana Games. That's Nerdvana,
Nerdvana?
one word, Nerdvana.
Okay, yeah. That's where we downloaded the...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, and this is the official game, so it's not like just
Yeah.
a knockoff, whatever. Actually, I was a part of a community at one point. This guy made his own port of his custom system he made, which was pretty nifty, and it was Bunkers and Badasses, and
Uh-huh.
he was working on a whole bunch of extra stuff for it, and then they announced this, and he's like, "Welp, Never mind.
Okay, I'm back.
All right. Who wants to go first, rolling a D100?
I will.
All right. Give me a D100. We are looking at your traits. Each Vault Hunter gets 2 traits. One is rolled and one is rolled and one is chosen. But because you guys don't have the book, we're gonna roll twice, and you can re-roll normally once for free. I'm gonna let you re-roll each one once if you want, because you don't get to choose normally.
Okay. Okay, so first is an 83.
83. Yes. Okay, so you missed what I said, but Tiny Tina has taken liberty with these, and she's actually taped in her own options on certain spots. You happen to get one of them. Your first trait is Bust a Move. You're a breakdancer who needs to earn enough money to save your rec center.
So this goes in background?
Yes, this is a trait. So let's see here. In the character bio, traits are in the character info.
Character info. Here we go.
Okay.
All right. Bust.
And bust a move. And you're going to get to re-roll one of these if you want to, so we'll save it, the re-roll. Actually, you get to re-roll both of them if you want. Roll a second set of D100.
41.
All right, so you get man or woman or non-binary about town. You're a social butterfly who wants to explore friendly environs and interact with friendly NPCs, partially because towns are fun and partially because you like forcing your bunker master, that's me, to speak in goofy voices. Do you want to re-roll either one of those?
I will keep the social butterfly one. What was it called?
Man or woman or non-binary about town. And do you want to keep or re-roll Bust a Move?
I will re-roll Bust a Move.
All right,
because
roll a D100. By the way, that would have given you a +5 to dancing.
Wow.
That could be useful. You never know.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Okay. This is an 87.
An 87. Aha, your trait is sucking up. Has anyone told you how great you look in that cloak? The bonus this one gives is a +5 to ingratiate talk checks. And by the way, the adjectives they use are taken with very liberal creative license. So if you consider something like buttering someone up in the most stupid of ways, this would count towards it.
Wow. So I was thinking, being a commando, I would model my character after Arnold Schwarzenegger's character in Commando.
Uh-huh.
Did any of you see that movie from in the 80s?
Yeah.
Nope, not me.
Oh, yeah. The 80s, that was my decade.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was also the decade where Arnold really got his break. Do you remember when I promised to kill you last? I lied.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if you want something close to that, since you could technically get to choose one of these, let's see here. There's one called Would I Lie? Do you want to roll one more time?
I'll roll one more time.
All right. And again, this is not normal that you do this. Just you can't pick normally because you don't have the book in front of you. So.
A 28.
28. Swift. They can't stop you if they can't catch you.
That's a pretty good one for Commando.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So the bonuses these give you, if you write down like Swift and next to it I'll give you the bonus you can put on there.
Okay.
So next to Swift, you get +5 on terrain traverse checks. Traverse is basically the check that you would do to maneuver around.
+5 to
Terrain traverse checks.
rain traverse checks.
And your other one gives you +5 on town search checks.
+5 to town search checks.
Absolutely. All right, Ken, your turn.
All right.
Give me a
Let's see what
D100.
happens here. Got a 71.
71. All right, stop picking at that. You're a master lockpicker who wants to pick the world's greatest chest. +5 on lockpick interact checks.
Oh, let's leave that. We'll see what the next one is.
Absolutely. Roll your second.
Okay. 53.
53. Rocks rock. You're a geologist. You came for the rocks. You stayed for the wanton violence. You gain +5 on element search checks.
All right. I'm going to keep that one because it's weird. +5 on element.
Element search checks. This cake an element? I could make it so.
We're going to re-roll the first one, though.
All right. Let's see what you get.
Got a 7.
7. Inspiration. You've got an uncanny ability to convince people to agree to things that go against their own interest. Maybe consider running for office. +5 on persuasion.
We're going to do that.
+5 on persuasion talk checks.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
+5 on talk checks.
Persuasion talk checks.
Persuasion, okay.
And I happen to get a 100. Boom, baby. You're a connoisseur of fine explosives. You hope to one day blow up the sun. +5 on explosives interact checks. This is perfect. That's perfect.
Yes, absolutely. For a psycho.
Yep.
Boom, baby. +5 on explosives interact checks. My mechanical keyboard announces to the world. All right. And then for my second roll is another 100. I'm going to re-roll that. What are the odds? 43. Let's see here. So for 43... Everybody be cool. You just want everybody to get along. You picked the wrong occupation, but still, good for you. The only reason why I'm taking this is it's +5 on diplomacy talk checks, and this is going to get really funny. Be cool.
Boy.
On diplomacy talk checks. All right. All right. I'm going to skip forward here a little bit so we can actually get to your things that they basically just did an overview for me. All right. Archetypes, Deadeye, prioritize, starting stats. Nope, don't want that. Don't want that. Want that. Here we are. Maybe. All right, so this is great. If you're a first-time player, you're going to want to do the following. Class descriptions are a good read, but also don't be too worried. If you end up not liking class you can always change it later. It doesn't make narrative sense that a Gunzerker could suddenly become a Siren, but 1, who? 2, cares. I mean, if you really want to, you can stay there. You can say there was a malfunction in the Brew You Cauldron, which is, by the way, the respawn system, that caused the particular Vault Center to respawn with an entirely new set of skills, or maybe the player just up and decided they didn't like magic anymore and wanted to focus on their turret skills. Either way, don't feel like you shouldn't let your players switch up their classes just for the sake of the story. So it's kind of fun that way. All right, so we're going to go into the classes because the classes have a couple things that actually do matter. So we're going to start with the commando, and you have
Okay.
5 backgrounds you can pick from: the divorcee, revengeance, veteran, whistleblower, or company man.
Revenger.
All right, your past crew double-crossed you in a deal. You now spend your free time seeking revenge and vengeance. Get it? Revengeance?
Yep.
Get +1 damage, +1 to your damage stat. But in your traits, or in your background, you can put revengeance -2 to insight checks.
Mm.
And your action skill is the Saber Turret, SABRE.
The action skill?
Yep. So Saber
All right.
Turret.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Gunzerker. You have 5 options as well: Roids, Curiosity Kills, Savior, Gotta Go Fast, Cowboy.
Cowboy or roids? Let's try cowboy. What's that one?
You grew up watching spaghetti westerns. Dueling is your favorite pastime. Yeehaw, motherfuckers. Spelled
Okay, that's it.
motherfuckers.
I am a
Okay,
cowboy.
so add +1 to accuracy and -1 to on interact checks. But you're going to write this down in your background as well. 40% chance to get thrown into a fight in every drinking establishment.
That's awesome.
Just a little.
40% chance to get into a fight. Is that what it was?
Yep, in every drinking establishment. And now for the psycho.
Oh boy.
Yep. My backgrounds. I either had the choice of you're dead, thud, grind, grind, kill, blood, stop talking to me. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take stop talking to me just because of the other trait that I picked up earlier. Real quick, before I forget the Gunzerker, your action skill, because that's kind of important, which should be Gunzerking, I believe. Yeah, Gunzerking.
Okay.
And for me, my trait, like the flavor description is I'm a social butterfly. That's all it says. You guys got your background. I'm a social butterfly. And this gives me -2 on insight, interact, and search. No, search and sneak. But I get +2 on talk checks. So I spout dribble and it's effective. Add into my +5 on diplomacy talk checks. That would be really funny. All right. And my action skill is Buzzkill Rampage. Apparently. Oh, yeah. So background. Stop talking to me.
I'll be right back. I gotta take care of something.
Oh, you're fine. All right. All right. So now everybody has a starting favored gun. My choices are the shotguns or submachine guns. I'm going to go ahead and take shotgun as my starting favored gun.
Okay.
And where is that on the character sheet to note that?
It's on the first page down near the bottom, I think.
Aha, yes. The little check marks. And if you notice on the right, there's current gun, gun slot 2, gun slot 3. It's made to where when you have it as a physical
Okay.
character sheet, you can actually have the guns to the side, managing your
Mhm.
inventory that way. Because you can swap
Yeah.
between guns. That affects things.
Oh, that's cool.
Which you don't always just want to swap because it does cause things to happen.
Yeah.
But it is there. For the Gunzerker, you get the option for your starting as, let's see here, rocket launcher or shotgun.
I'm gonna have to do rocket launcher just because it's dramatic.
Do it. Well, no matter what, you also gain the benefit of you always start with a crappy pistol in addition to whatever else.
Oh, okay.
At the beginning, level 0, everybody starts off with the, quote, crappy version of their weapon. So you gain a crappy rocket launcher and a crappy pistol.
There you go. Is that a Gunzerker thing that gets the
Yes.
gets the two? Okay.
Yep, that is theirs. And there are skill trees that go with each class, but we're not going to deal with those because you're not leveling up.
Okay.
All right. And if you're hanging around whenever next time we do this, and keep your character sheet with you, I'll go through the mechanics of what your abilities actually like mechanically do, because you basically pull out 2 guns and shoot them at the same time.
Okay. A rocket launcher and a pistol.
Are you back?
Wow.
Are you back then?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
back.
All right. So for you, you get to choose between either the sniper rifle or the combat. Oh, sorry, you're not an assassin.
I'm a commando.
You gain a pistol or a shotgun as a favored gun.
Hmm.
And on your
I'd have
character,
to.
on your character sheet, there's little check mark boxes on the bottom left of the
Right.
first page. You just check the one.
I see that. I think I'm gonna have to go shotgun.
All right. Your melee die is a D8. And our Gunzerker's melee die
1d8.
is a D10.
Wow.
The Psycho,
Okay, what was that? I missed that. Sorry.
your melee die is a D10.
Okay.
Mine is a D12.
Wow.
Because psychos like to hit things.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
All right.
So you scrawny like all the psychos in the game?
I think if I were to create this character, that I would make a psycho that had like the most dapper of hats, and with like shredded purple clothing, and just shouting the weirdest proper sounding words.
That's awesome.
Which, by the way, you can make your characters look like however they want whenever you're creating these. That's part of the fun.
That's cool.
All right. The soldier actually has a special modification because Tina made it, and in the story that character dies, and it's like a big mentor of hers. She scratches out the entire description and everything, and she said they just like Roland. It's Roland. All right. So for the characters doing this, all right. So now, for your character sheet, we've got the backgrounds, we've got everything else. So we would calculate base stats. You combine the archetype stats, the class stats, all that stuff together. Then you'll take an additional 3 points and add them to any base stat. This is the accuracy, damage, speed, and mastery. And either all in one or spread them amongst a few. And then you write it in the correct one, so you basically increase them. And then you divide each skill in half, rounded down, and that is going to be the modifier in the box to the right. So for an example, I have 3 points that I can spend somewhere. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend all 3 into my damage. So I will go up to a damage of 7. My accuracy is a 1, so I will have a +0. My damage is a 7, so rounding that down in half is going to be a +3. Speed is 2, so I get a +1. Mastery is 6, so +3. Make sense?
I think so.
It's like kind of like D&D stats to a different, just a different kind of math. Because, if you're like a 10,
Okay.
it's a 0, a 12, it's a +1, a 14, it's a +2. It's the same thing, it's just you're not adding 10. It's not a basis of like starting at 10, it's just 0 up. So a 2 would be
Okay.
+1, a 4 would be +2, so on and so forth.
Okay. And how many points do we have to spend?
3, either all in one or spread out.
I will put 2 in my speed and 1 in my accuracy.
Yep.
So that goes to 6. So 6 is +3?
Yes, because divided in 6 by 2 equals 3.
3 is +1. 2 is +1. And 4 is +2. Okay, not bad.
Yeah. And then the next part is the
Alright.
check mods. If you'll see the little box that says checks, these are skills. It's
Okay.
obviously we have an exhaustive list with high amount of detail,
Okay.
and you have to roll for every single thing you do. Now, we've got interact, talk, insight, sneak, search, traverse.
Okay.
Very simple. Traverse is jump, climb, roll, flip, whatever. Talking is going in, as it describes it, is going in guns blazing isn't always the answer. Sometimes you need to mount a charm offensive. There can be value in talking your way out of a situation. It's talking, literally. Sneaking is sneaking. Searching is searching. Insight is to prove you know stuff about other stuff and that you've been around Pandora's block and have the memory to prove it.
Okay.
Interact is, well, to interact at anything that needs opened or kicked in or blown up. Very exhaustive list. But you end up tying this in with the noted modifier. So, for example, my accuracy modifier is a 0, so I have a 0 in my interact. My speed modifier is a 1, so I have a 1 in my speed modifier, and so on and so forth. I'll add a plus.
So if I had a -1 for interact because I'm a cowboy, would that go in the middle box?
Is it
or does it matter where it
was
goes?
it a straight -1 to interact? I believe it was.
Yeah.
Like mine was too. Then
Yeah.
I would probably put that in the miscellaneous modifier. Yes. So like your
Okay.
accuracy my accuracy modifier is a 0 to insight, but I get like a -2 on insight, interact, and search and sneak. Basically anything that's not talk, I get -2 to. So I will put a -2 in all of those
Yeah.
spots.
I am not very insightful because of my Revenger.
Yep. So yeah, I got some nice bonuses, but mastery modifier +3. I also have some nasty negatives. Accuracy modifier, search modifier is mastery, traverse check is speed. Was traverse also negative? Nope, just insight, interact, search, and sneak. Okay. And then you can do other modifiers later based on the situation. Like if you're doing a specific, like you had the plus to a specific type, a persuasion talk check. So it's not always going to be there.
Right. And I had these Swift +5 to terrain traverse checks.
Correct. Not just regular traverse checks.
Okay.
Persuasion talk checks. That's
If you're trying to persuade somebody by
that-
talking to them. Simple enough.
Yeah, so that wouldn't necessarily be a modifier here. I mean, that's just something we...
That's something that will situationally come up. Because, like, if you're lying to somebody, it won't apply. If you're trying to persuade somebody to do something, that's a little bit different.
Right.
Can I ask a question that takes us back a couple steps?
Sure.
What is the Gunzerker's base accuracy?
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry. Let's see here.
I think I messed it up.
Okay. In the classes, the Gunzerker, base accuracy, +1. Should be +1, +2, +0, +1, in that order.
Okay. So I've got it right then.
Okay, cool. All right. The checks. All right. So level is obviously what level you're all going to be. All what people start at level 1. And XP. If you'll notice at the bottom, there's this little XP bar, and it's actually really cool because it's like per so much XP. You could do like level 1, you write 100 on the XP segment, and once it's filled by gaining 100 XP, then you go to the next level. So it's kind of a nifty little tracker feature that you can use. The health, when attacked, enemies tend to attack back. Shocker. Health is a measurement of how close the player is to purchasing a one-way ticket to the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns. A Vault Hunter's health is based on level. To calculate max health, level 1 add 10 to the highest value on the melee die. Example, Assassin has a 1d6 melee die, so 6 plus 10 is 16 max health. So, for example,
So
you
18
have...
for me.
That's correct.
So I'd have 20 then.
Yes, and I would have 22.
Okay.
Man, that's awesome. For level 1?
Yep. And then, let's see here. Health regen occurs when a player takes no damage over a course of a turn. Regen equals to the regen value up to max health. Level 1 Vault Hunters don't start with points in health regen, but can gain regen through other good choices. So certain characters can do that, like I'll have regen is what my thing would be. Now there's also this thing, badass rank.
Yeah.
We have only a 1 badass rank because we'd be a level 1. Boop. And badass rank. Boop. And 0 badass tokens. Badass tokens can be spent for stuff. I'll explain that in the next session when we do that. The starting items, everyone would gain a crappy version of their preferred gun. The Gunzerker gains his plus a crappy pistol. And the way that guns work, I will go into the next session. But to kind of give you a basic example, is every gun card, and I'm going to show you guys this, and I'll actually change the screen so people who watch this. Yay for inexperienced recorder. Let's see here. Window capture. That wasn't it. Discord capture. There we go. And there we are. Here I am. So when you've got this here, and well, that's not very clear at all. Does that help if I take it out of the sleeve? Nope, not at all.
Nope.
Darn. Well, if you can kind of see, it's kind of blurry, but here you have the die. That's how much damage it'll do if it hits. But then this is actually the range from which things hit. So it's based on, and then you get your accuracy modifier and everything added in and so on and so forth. But like this one has a 2 to 7 gets 1 hit. An 8 to 15 gets 1 hit. A 16 plus gains, and you'll see there's a red and a blue. The blue is a regular hit. The 1 is a critical hit. So certain weapons have better stats. Like some they'll get criticals way earlier. And the damage on this one is 2d10s. So that's how that works. And range 6. So 6 spaces.
Wow.
It's a rocket launcher. And this one's actually called
My
Singularity.
toy.
Only need
Wow.
this is called Singularity. Only needs one. It's an element type. But the element that it uses, it has text on here: overheat. Take 1d10 incendiary damage on reload. And it's a splash weapon, so it'll actually affect things in an area. And a +5 damage mod. So it does a lot of damage. And this one here is
Wow.
considered an epic level equipment. So it's one of the higher level.
It's not a crappy level, huh?
No, not a crappy level. All right.
Oh, that's good.
So, and there's actually a random gun chart, so I could like randomly generate guns for you guys to find.
Okay.
But yeah, so essentially you have different whatevers. Let's see. Guns. Well, crappy basic gun, but it's a start. And let's see here. Oh, and actually, I didn't do this when I first played this game. There's actually a way in here for you guys to build out your basic first gun. It's got a rolling chart and everything. I'm not going to do that here because I don't have form fillable things to do that with. But you roll on it for things like you have different kinds. You have different manufacturers. The different manufacturers have different effects. And it's actually kind of cool. But from there, mostly we're done. Mostly. Go ahead and roll a D6, please.
I got a 2.
You start with 50 gold.
So did I.
You both start with 50 gold. I rolled a 5. I start with 120.
Oh, you lucky.
All right. The other thing is shields. Starting off, people do not have shields. Like, you get them pretty quickly. It's basically the whole intro one shot gives you a shield eventually. But shield takes damage first. It has a capacity of 20 and a recharge rate of 5. That's the... every Vault Hunter begins their adventure with a standard high-intensity defense shield. So it's the beginning one shot that doesn't give them. But everyone starts with one. It's got a capacity of 20, so you can take 20 damage. And it's got a regen rate of 5. Shields take damage first, and once they are depleted, health is impacted. At the end of a turn, if a player has not taken any damage, shields recharge equal to recharge rate. So if you're focused down, your shield's not going to recharge. But if you can manage to avoid being hit, then it'll start. Grenades, they go boom when you throw them.
So what's our health regen rate, did you say?
0 starting.
0.
Yep. You have 0 grenades starting, and you have a max of 3, although through hard work and dedication, leveling up, they can unlock more slots to hoard more grenades when they do find them in their adventures. And then from here, you create a appearance and name. And the end statement is, or let's see here, I'm going to go ahead and read this whole thing here. Be they a mechanical former drone or an androgynous assassin, Vault Hunters come in all shapes and sizes. Each class has a brief description of the typical appearance / clothing choice of that class, but Vault Hunter's particular expression of visual badassitude is ultimately up to the player. Players may choose any appearance they wish, including enemy types, be a goblin necromancer, or even an orc commando. If a Vault Hunter's tragic and epic backstory needs to be newly established bonuses or penalties, discuss it with the Bunker Master. Bunker Master being the Game Master. Every Vault Hunter needs an epic name that truly encapsulates them. This name will be used by the Bunker Master and other party members, so choose wisely or ridiculously. The fun of an RPG is to really get into the role-playing aspect. It is an opportunity to live out strange and wonderful fantasies of adventure and heroism. As you embark on your adventures with your newly created Vault Hunter, remember to immerse yourself, to let go and stretch your imagination. Become Gearstaff, the Necromancer, or Shirtless Clyde, the Psycho, or whatever amazing and unique Vault Hunter you have created. Congratulations, Vault Hunter. You've done it. Your character is now ready to take on the harsh borderlands of Pandora. Don't die. And that's it.
Great advice.
And that is the character creation. There are some rules, things that I'm going to go over next time. I'll be posting up when that'll be. But yeah, everybody, that's kind of like the most random way of generating characters is just randomly rolling everything up. but it's a really fun, light system. Like, if you can tell, the skills aren't really all that heavy. It's interesting because it's so light, but it's still combat based. It actually encourages a lot of role play. Because you I want to talk to this guy, and you can talk however you want. So you're just like, I'm going to roll the dice, and you can be ridiculous and flowery, or just bloody axes, do now. And I was trying to do diplomacy. I have a +5 to diplomacy as a psycho screaming random stuff. That's fun.
Yeah.
So, one thing I don't remember if Ben was around, but I was showing Ken this, that on your character sheet, if you notice on the right side, there are slots for your guns. You have an active gun and up to 2 other slots you can store guns in. So, and there are things whenever the one mechanic that is in the game is actually these mayhem points. You give the GM, or the bunker master, stuff to really screw with you. And whenever you reload, which doesn't happen often, but whenever you reload or you switch guns, you give me a mayhem point. And I can spend it to do some crazy stuff. Like certain bad guys.
Sounds like fun.
Certain bad guys actually have abilities that can only be spent with mayhem points. But there's also a random table that Tiny Tina pasted in there that could do something as crazy as your gun starts just spewing out jelly. Ridiculousness. It's awesome. So yeah, that's the basics.
Rocket launcher with jelly.
Yeah, that's the basics of creating a character. It's fun. Awesome. It's zany. It obviously doesn't take itself too seriously. And I'm actually really excited to run a game, hopefully before the end of the year, in this.
Yeah. Got me kind of excited to try it. So.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Yeah, totally.
I'll think of a name and a little bit of a backstory. Be ready to go next time.
Yeah.
I'll be thinking about that too.
And this is game 2. The session zeros don't need to be super crazy. So the session 0 for this, one of the reasons why I picked this first is, one, in the poll I did, a lot of people were interested in Bunkers Badasses. But when you actually do the game, it's so lighthearted and easy to do. Like, I could probably literally improvise the whole thing and it work.
Yeah.
Just because it's so crazy. I'm not gonna, because I'm an OCD freak. But it's great. So yeah. Do you guys have any questions so far about it, or?
Not so far.
Not really. No.
Just need to think about the character a little bit, come up with a little bit how I want to play him, and I think that'll kind of inform some of the other stuff moving forward. So.
If you guys want some good live plays, actually Critical Role did a single one-shot that actually Ashley Birch GM'd. And if you don't know, Ashley Birch is the voice of Tiny Tina. So that for me was a gem. It was an absolute gem. You get to see the zaniness of what this game can really do. So that's one I would highly recommend. Just because it's Critical Role's production quality is high. And everything of the sort. But there's a couple others. I will probably run. There's a version of the Honey Heist. I'll probably run that, or one. There's 2 other pre-mades in the back of the book. That's another thing. So let me actually show the book real quick. So obviously there's this, right? It's not a light tome. The first section, all through here, is what's creating your character and all that jazz. Then there's the actual playing the game, which is a good amount of stuff, all the way from gun types, and guilds being companies. And then all this right here is all that part of the game. But then the rest of this is actually 3 adventures. The first one is Marcus's quest for the Wizard's Wand, which is fantastic. It's the intro one, and I'm very tempted to run it again. It was super fun to run when I did it last time. You have Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, which is directly based on the video game. And Butt Stallion's Honey Heist, which has a loving
that's awesome
drawing. And what's great about this one is everything everything is in that drawing, including the guns that are
Yeah.
themed to this one are all in the Tina drawings. It's fantastic.
I'm gonna have to order the book.
Yeah, you can get it on Nerdvana. They don't have a digital. I'm so frustrated because I want a
Yeah.
digital to pair with this.
Yes.
But they do
Yeah. That's
have.
what I do.
Yeah, but they do have. They said I asked them, and they said they're working on it, which I don't know what that means. I wonder if there's certain
Yeah.
agreements they have to do because it's technically an owned license and all this stuff. They can't just publish it, and it's probably not part of their contract or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know all
Mm.
their details. So, but yeah, I appreciate you guys kind of stopping in and checking it out. I
Yeah.
know a couple other people wanted to come in, but they weren't able to. So I know Bill was wanting to originally, but wasn't able to.
Yeah.
So
Hey.
Well, that was fun. I think it'll be a good time. So
yeah,
I think so too. I can't wait for this to get started.
if you guys are in
and then
here next time, and I'll be posting it up when I'll be running the next one. You guys can reuse your character sheets that you just made for the combat example.
okay.
And you can either keep them if you're the ones who take part in the one shot. You can either keep them for that as well or create new ones. It'll be up to you.
Okay.
And yeah, so I appreciate it.
All right.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Awesome.
end the recording. So those who are checking it out, if I recorded this properly, and it's not corrupted or whatever else, thanks for checking it out, and feel free to say hey to everybody over on the Adventure Syndicate. So thank you, everybody, and I'm going to end the recording.